You've heard of Mint Mobile before, and their claims that you can get a cell phone service for only $15 a month. And you might be like, okay, is there a catch? What's the deal with this? Well, I've used Mint Mobile for the last 3 years. I didn't want to do a review on this until I put the service to the test. And after 3 years going through different places and travel, and also going through a hurricane with power outage, that is why I want to review Mint Mobile for you today and let you know if it's worth it or not. First, we'll talk about the plans and the pricing, and I'll show you exactly what's behind the scenes on my account. Then we're going to talk about service, and I'm going to talk about how I traveled with this thing, and we're going to talk about did it work in all these different locations, as well as did it work when we had some power outages as a result of the storm that we just had here in Florida. And I also want to share a warning, something that you need to know before you ever dive into Mint Mobile, just to make sure this is the right thing for you. So let's start with plans and pricing. Now, you can do Mint Mobile either on an app, and I have the app installed here on my phone. I can use it anytime I want, or you can go online on a browser and pull up your account and do it that way. Whatever works best for you. Let's take a look at the browser first and hop over to the screen. All right, first thing I want to show you is manage my plan. And right now you can see that I am on the current plan of 12 months, 15 gigabytes. And I'm going to share with you exactly why that is. First things first. I originally had, a couple years ago, had Verizon Wireless, and we only had 2 phone lines, and that was costing us $102 a month, and we didn't even have unlimited data at the time. We only had 5 gigabytes of data per month. So we needed to add a couple lines. We needed to go to a total of 4 lines, taking care of our parents, taking care of a kid. So we needed 4 lines, and that quote came out to over $200 every month. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. This is just getting way too expensive. I just don't know. I mean, is Verizon really all that amazing? I don't know. So I started looking around, and I took the jump on Mint Mobile. I'm like, let's see if this thing is any good. And the best part is there's no contract. So if we hate it, we can cancel it and get our money back and never deal with them again. Well, as you obviously know, I've said I've done it for 3 years now, so obviously I'm happy with it. But we need to talk about some of the key things, and the first thing is the plans and the pricing. This is a little bit different than typical phone plans, and that is the fact that, you know how they say $15 a month? Well, let's be honest, that's as low as $15 a month, but here's how they're able to do that. They offer something called bulk pricing. And because they're able to do that, they're able to offer a little bit of a discount as a result of that. But that could be a little bit hard to swallow for some people, because $15 a month means that you have to do it by the 12-month plan. You got to buy an entire year in order to get that $15 a month. And it has to be the lowest plan, which is 5 gigabytes of data per month. But let's take a look here and really dig in, because there's some really interesting pieces here. The lowest you can go is 3 months. So you have to pay 3 months in advance. Now, what I recommend, because, this being a personal finance channel, we want to save money. And in my opinion, if you look at it, at the end of the day, Verizon Wireless charging me over $100 for 2 lines is like a no-brainer to save up some money for the 3-month plan. And that's actually how I started this. I said, okay, 3 months, if I do 102 plus 102 plus 102, it would have cost me $306 for 5 gigabytes in 3 months on Verizon. So now it's $25 a month times 2 lines, which is 50 plus 50 plus 50. Now it's only costing me $150 for those 2 months. What a big difference that is. So that's where I started. And then I'm like, hey, this is kind of fun and flexible. Let's save up a ton of money and get the 12-month plan. So that's the first thing that you need to do. That's the first tip I have, is try to save up money before you launch into Mint if you need to. So that way you can take advantage of the lowest pricing. You can see right now I have 15 gigs. So year number 1, I opted with the 3-month unlimited plan. I quickly upgraded in year 2 to the 12-month unlimited plan. But then I realized something. I wasn't using all the data because there's Wi-Fi like everywhere. So if you're in an area that you're always connected to Wi-Fi, do you really need unlimited data? Not really, right? So I said, heck with it. After that year passed by and this current year just started up, I'm like, I'm going to downgrade, because I looked at my report and Mint tells you how much data you're using so you can make a better informed decision. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to downgrade all of our plans. So this is my personal plan right now that you're looking at. I downgraded that to the 12-month 15 gig. I then put my wife on the 12-month 15 gig because she didn't need it as well. She didn't need unlimited. And then for our kids, we put them on the 5 gigabyte plan. plan. And you can manage all this by clicking on Mint Family, and that'll show you everybody. So that'll show you all of the people in your family and what they're on. You can see we're all on the 12-month plan now, and that two of them are on 5 gigs, me and my wife are on 15, and we absolutely love it. But then you can always adjust, and that's the thing I really appreciated about Mint. You can either add on more data, you can subtract data, or you can be flexible with it. Even if you're in the middle of your 3-month period, even though I have a 12-month current plan, I can upgrade that at any point in those 12 months. Let's say I'm like, oh my gosh, I need more than 15 gigs. I need to go to 20. I can upgrade that straight up. Or I can go to unlimited again if I wanted to. There is a lot of flexibility in this that I really appreciated. And just in case you wanted to see what the app looks like, 15 gigabytes. Now you might be like, wait a minute, why does it say 50 and a 15 gigabytes remaining? That's another shout out I have to Mint Mobile. We just went through a hurricane here in Florida, and I didn't need it. I didn't need anything. Everything was fine. Thank God. Everything was fine. But they were like, hey, everybody that got impacted by Hurricane Milton, here's some extra data for you just in case you need it, in case you're out of Wi-Fi, in case you're in a weird area, in case you need that extra. We're going to give you some more data for this next month. That's customer service. They didn't need to do this. You can go to my plan right here at the very bottom of the screen, and then it's the same thing as what we looked at earlier on the browser. Now you can see my plan is coming up. I renew this every December. So that's my 1 year. Every year I go and I upgrade it. But the big kicker is service, because that's the thing I was worried about. Everybody says Verizon has the best coverage and all this and that. What about Mint? Well, I traveled to New York, traveled to California, traveled to Louisiana, traveled up the coast of Florida into some very weird areas that aren't really like busy at all. Like it's in the middle of the sticks. It's in the middle of nowhere. I'm happy to say that Mint Mobile was online the entire time. In fact, I have another account with AT&T. And AT&T was actually lower service than Mint Mobile. So I'm just saying what the facts are, what I experienced, and that's what I experienced. So the cool thing about it is Mint Mobile will oftentimes lean and heavily rely on the T-Mobile towers. So that's what they use. So if you're on T-Mobile and you're paying a lot of money, you could literally hop over to Mint Mobile. It's the same tower experience. You're not going to give up service at all. It's kind of apples to apples. For those of you who are on Verizon or one of these other companies and you're a little bit afraid, look, take it from me. I enjoyed it. And worst comes to worst, if you hate it, all you have to do is cancel it. There's no contract binding like there is with Verizon and AT&T and some of these other ones that bind you into those like 1 year or 2 year contracts that you can't leave. And then if you hate Mint, you cancel it and you can go back to Verizon, you can go back to AT&T. That was my exact plan. I was planning on doing that if this stunk in any way. And I'm happy to say it wasn't. We also had the hurricane that came through. A lot of people lost power. A lot of people had cell outages. There were a lot of issues that happened. I'm happy to say that even with that, we didn't have any cellular disruption in our area. Now, I am sure there's people that live on the coastal regions probably had a lot more issues than what we did, but that was also a very nice thing as well. We could set up a hotspot. We could use these different things if we needed to. Our internet did go out. So that was awful, but it was nice to be able to lean on a hotspot if we needed it to power up, the iPad or anything else that we needed during that period of time. So here's the issue. You've been waiting for this. Let's hop over to the screen. I'll tell you the warning. Unlike Verizon that locks you into that contract when you get a new phone, you got to think about what your strategy is going to be when it comes down to your phone. You can go here if you want to. And pick out a phone, and it does use a firm for monthly payments. They don't lock you into their own monthly payment schedule, but you do have to buy the phone outright. And there's not a whole lot. Let's see, if you're like an Apple lover. Oh, one phone. Let's see which one it is. Okay, it's the SE. Let's say you don't want that. You're like, I don't want the SE. I want like a 14, 15, 16 or something like that. Well, if you have an unlocked phone, which means you didn't get it from Verizon, it's not locked down with Verizon or AT&T or one of those other ones, you can then take that and Mint will automatically SIM up to your phone to make it as easy to follow along as possible. They'll provide all that if it's an unlocked phone device. If it's not unlocked, which means it's tied to Verizon or whatnot, you're gonna have to buy a different phone. That's the big warning that some people struggle with at first. Now, I will tell you, I saved up all my money to buy an Apple. I wanted an iPhone, so I saved up all the money, waited for the Apple event, got all into it, bought the new phone. This was a couple years ago, so this is the iPhone 14. But I saved up for that because I wanted to buy the unlocked phone. And the reason behind that is I really love the freedom of saying, okay, I got Mint Mobile, but if I wanted to transfer to anybody else, I got the freedom now. I got the unlocked thing that nobody can touch. Verizon can't lock this down. Mint Mobile can't lock this down. This is Freedom Phone, but you do have to pay for it all at once. So either you got to buy it outright, or you got to put it on an Apple Card, or you got to put it with a firm and do the monthly payments that way if you want. But that is one thing that you need to consider before you jump into Mint, is look at what phone you're using before you just transfer over, because you might find yourself saying, oh crap, I still got to pay off this phone with Verizon. It's locked into the Verizon network. I can't just transfer it over to Mint because Verizon's tricky and they lock the phones down and you cannot do anything to get rid of it. So I'm going to have to go and find myself a different phone and buy it. So just remember that before you jump into Mint, that it's time for a fresh new phone. Now, if you don't care about Apple, you don't care about the SE, you can go for one of the other ones like the Google phone. They got some Motorola's, they got the Samsung and all that kind of stuff. But it all depends what kind of brand you prefer the most when it comes down to your phone if you want to get Mint. Now, I have an offer that you and I get rewarded when you sign up for Mint Mobile. All you got to do is click the link in the description below. If this video was helpful, I would definitely appreciate it. And most importantly, if you do have questions that maybe I didn't answer in the video, drop them down below in the comments, and I'll make sure I get back to each and every one of your questions related to my Mint experience. But I hope you enjoyed this. Check out this video next, and we'll see you on the next video.